In this podcast episode, the host delves deeply into the transformative potential of fasting with Dr. Alan Goldhamer, a pioneering figure who has dedicated over 4 decades to helping people restore their health through fasting and lifestyle interventions. The conversation weaves together ancestral wisdom, modern science, and practical insights, revealing how fasting can unlock the body's innate ability to heal itself. Dr. Goldhamer opens by reflecting on the profound and universal nature of fasting across diverse spiritual traditions, from Judaism and Jainism to Hinduism, Islam, Buddhism, and Christianity, highlighting a shared respect for this practice despite differing beliefs. He suggests that fasting's longevity in the human story is no accident. It's deeply tied not only to spiritual maturation, but also to fundamental biological adaptations that have allowed humans to survive periods of scarcity throughout evolution. Our ancestors evolved in environments where scarcity was the norm, developing metabolic flexibility that enabled the brain, our largest consumer of glucose, to switch fuels from glucose to fat during fasting. This evolutionary mechanism greatly extended survival during famine and remains a key factor in fasting's modern therapeutic effects. Contrasting our evolutionary background, Dr. Goldhamer paints a stark picture of today's diseases of excess, noting that chronic conditions such as heart disease, diabetes, autoimmune disorders, and some cancers are now widespread due to persistent overeating and the dominance of ultra-processed foods laden with salt, oil, and sugar. These hyperpalatable chemical additives hijack our brain's dopamine-driven reward system, stimulating overeating and reinforcing unhealthy eating habits, much like addiction. Visceral fat, especially, acts almost like a tumor, an inflammatory, hypermetabolic tissue surrounding organs, contributing significantly to chronic disease risk. He stresses how these conditions are often treated as distinct issues by conventional medicine, yet they share this underlying inflammatory root related to diet and lifestyle. Dr. Goldhamer likens fasting to rebooting a malfunctioning computer, a period of turning off to clear errors and reset systems. The fasting process shifts the body's metabolism from glucose consumption to fat burning, facilitating the preferential mobilization and elimination of visceral fat, inflammatory compounds, and even pathological tissues such as tumors. This metabolic reset is accompanied by profound physiological adaptations, including enhanced enzymatic activity involved in breaking down fats and recycling cellular components through autophagy, a cellular housekeeping process that removes senescent and potentially cancerous cells. These effects not only promote healing, but have been shown in studies to extend lifespan in animal models and improve outcomes in humans with chronic illnesses. Goldhamer cautions that fasting is a delicate process requiring appropriate candidate selection, medical supervision, adequate rest, hydration, and meticulous management of electrolyte balance. Physical activity during extended fasts risks breaking down lean muscle instead of fat, which is counterproductive, making rest essential to protect muscle mass. He emphasizes that the refeeding phase, returning to eating after fasting, is often overlooked yet pivotal. Reintroducing food too rapidly can cause dangerous electrolyte imbalances or edema, negating much of the healing achieved. Their well-tested protocol calls for gradual reintroduction, beginning with juices and moving slowly toward whole fruits, vegetables, and eventually more concentrated foods, typically requiring half the duration of the fast to safely regain normal nutrition. Though approached primarily through a health lens, Dr. Goldhamer warmly acknowledges fasting's deep psychological and spiritual effects. Many experience an empowerment in overcoming the innate fear of not eating and an awakening to a different sense of self once freed from constant hunger and food cravings. The altered brain fuel during ketosis influences perception and mood, often resulting in improved clarity, reduced anxiety, and a lifting of emotional burdens. Fasting also has a remarkable impact on addictions, reducing cravings for substances like cigarettes and alcohol more effectively and swiftly than traditional quitting attempts. Furthermore, the clearing and resetting of the gut microbiome during fasting can positively affect neurotransmitter production, like serotonin and dopamine, underpinning mental wellness and emotional resilience. Recognizing biological differences, Dr. Goldhamer points out that women generally store and lose fat differently due to evolutionary imperatives surrounding reproduction and pregnancy. Female physiology tends to conserve fat more aggressively, making weight loss slower and sometimes more challenging compared to men. This is not a deficiency, but a survival trait that needs to be respected in any fasting or dietary strategy. The discussion turns critical as Dr. Goldhamer critiques the prevailing medical paradigm, which often prioritizes symptom management with lifelong medications over true healing and lifestyle modification. He highlights the unfortunate incentives that perpetuate this cycle. Pharmaceutical profits thrive on chronic drug use, and ultra-processed food industries are adept at promoting addictive eating behaviors. He draws a troubling link between these industries, suggesting overlapping interests that benefit from sustained disease rather than prevention or cure. While fasting can powerfully jumpstart healing, Dr. Goldhamer insists it must be integrated with proper diet, sleep, and exercise for sustainable health. He endorses daily intermittent fasting of 12 to 16 hours, combined with a whole food, plant-focused diet free from animal products and processed additives to maintain benefits long-term. Fasting is best viewed as a management strategy rather than a cure, requiring lifestyle commitment to avoid relapse into disease. Dr. Goldhamer does not shy away from acknowledging the social difficulties people face when adopting healthier, fasting-supported lifestyles. Changes in eating habits may lead to social alienation or antagonism from those who do not share similar health values, particularly for women. Mental and emotional support networks become crucial, as does reframing relationships to external stressors and energy vampires that drain well-being. Outside of fasting, Dr. Goldhamer finds nourishment and balance through physical activities such as basketball, which serve as both exercise and a form of meditation, aiding mental focus and emotional health. He encourages listeners to find their own meditative practices to maintain the harmony fasting awakens. Looking forward, Dr. Goldhamer discusses ongoing research at True North Health Center, including studies demonstrating the safety and efficacy of fasting in treating hypertension, diabetes, autoimmune diseases, and as an adjunct to cancer therapy. Fasting appears to modulate immune function delicately, calming it in autoimmune conditions while invigorating it against cancer cells. Remarkably, fasting can enhance chemotherapy's effectiveness and reduce its side effects by selectively sensitizing cancer cells while protecting normal cells. Despite exciting progress, he expresses concern about the medical-industrial complex's commercial interests, possibly slowing broader acceptance of fasting-based therapies. However, the burgeoning science is helping to shift fasting from fringe quackery to mainstream, evidence-based practice, even inspiring research into fasting-mimicking drugs that could capture the benefits pharmacologically.